Now, say my name.
The Rolling Bad Podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Coming to you almost live from the Bone-Tied Nexus in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, it's the Rolling Bad Podcast, episode number 122. It's January 16th. I'm your host, Bill. Hey, is that a New Year Old Army? Costello, and with me today,
all the way from the Sea of Claws, it's Joshua, Harbinger of Decay, Alt.
We're foreshadowing.
I know, a little bit.
And why is that? Because this show is New Year, New Army.
Well, more like New Year, Renew Army.
Okay.
So we're going to get into our new Army projects for AOS this year, guys.
Yep. And what we're going to do and why we're doing it.
And all the fun we hope to have.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm counting on it. It's, for me, obviously the Bone-Tied Nexus, that kind of tells you I'll be doing OBR. Think you can understand what Josh is doing?
Yes, I've already started to spread grandfather's blessings to my opponents already. We'll talk about that in battle.
Yeah.
But this is an interesting show because we're a week late, but we're 2 weeks out from a pretty mediocre event. I hear it's something that a couple nerds go to, but.
Something to pass the time while you're at LVO.
Yeah.
It's we're 2 weeks out from LVO, and the reason we didn't record is because I had to run off to do a work thing, and it set me behind. But luckily, I built a week's worth of wiggle room into my schedule, so I should be ready for the narrative at LVO. I have to put some finishing touches on some terrain. I've got to pull all the terrain out of all the boxes, make sure it made the trips well, and the traveling that a lot of that terrain's done, I got to make sure everything's up to speed, but I don't have any. I've kind of looked at most of it. And the player packs, and the last time I did it, I gave everybody a folder with all the sheets and everything you needed in it. This time I'm having it bound into little, it's not, perfect bound or anything like that. It's going to be spiral bound, but it's nice because it'll open flat, and it's going to have the heroes that you can use in there, plus the menus from all the different caravans in there. So you'll have like one little place, plus it'll have, the victory trackers and everything is going to be in there. The only thing that's going to be separate is the feedback sheet, to tell me what you liked and what you hated. So I don't want to bind that in there because then you'll just have to tear it out. So,
well, I've already got feedback for you, Bill. I'm disappointed it wasn't in there already because that's two things that you would have to carry around. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, I wish I could have gone. Just with the new job and everything, it just tied me down. So it sounds like it's gonna be a blast because otherwise we would have probably done some recording from there. Though, I mean, not to say that we can't, try to figure something out.
I'm gonna bring my portable, recorder. I have that Zoom portable, and I'll be bringing the microphones, just to do some interviews and hopefully catch up with some people that I haven't literally seen for 2 flipping years. It's the last time I was at an event was the last Nova, because they then flipped around and, had to cancel LVO, and that was hellish. And then, of course, there's been nothing since. So I am just so freaking pumped about getting out there. And it's funny because I was really dreading having to put together the event again. And I'm like, 90% of the work is done. Yeah. I have the coin systems already done. All of that is, I made a new map, and I'm going to actually try to base it more on a map. The players will find out more when they get there. The caravans are going to try to be a little bit more involved.
Yep.
And when it came down to, the last time I did this, we started off at 1,000 points, and you grew your army up to 2,000 points over time. And that worked okay.
Yeah.
It was nice to get, new people that were just starting out, could have smaller games and learn and move forward. But this time we're going with straight 2,000 points. And I literally spent a portion of the beginning of last year thinking about how am I going to do paying for casualties? How are we going to fit paying for, replenishing your army after you get wiped out or, you lose a few units. And then AOS 3.0 comes out. There's a path to glory. There's a casualty point system baked into the rule book. And I'm like, okay, thank you. They just made my life so easy. It's, I had to make a few changes to how casualty rolls work, and you have to pay for them with coin. So, but there's always going to be loans available.
Hey.
I'm going to try to demonstrate how capitalism works in the mortal realms or the broken realms, whatever. So,
broke realms.
Yeah, the broke realms.
There you go.
By the time I'm done with you, you ain't gonna have nothing left.
Yeah, there's an internet comic that we could do.
Yeah, the broke realms. Why is it Archeon has all the money? Okay, well, Sigmar does too.
Yeah, yeah.
The 1%ers. Oh, and Nagash just lost it. He just became like a 10%er. Anyway, that's just way out there. Okay, so that's LVO. I am so freaking excited to see everybody and to be out there and to just relax for 3 or 4 days and have some great AOS games and just, see the community again that I haven't seen for 2 years. Yay.
Yeah, so I think that does it for the intro.
Yeah, we got to end it on a sad note.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say it. I've talked about it before, big Golden Girls fan. Just rest in peace, Betty White. I'm wearing actually my Golden Girls tank today underneath my sweater, just, in memory of her.
Yep.
The Golden Girls is just one of the best shows that's ever been made. And it's one of those shows where a lot of people probably, if you haven't watched it, you don't know how funny it is.
Yeah.
And you need to go watch it.
It's like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You don't think it would probably appeal to you, but all of a sudden you start and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's a show that, really dealt with a lot of progressive issues that are going on. It deals with racism. It deals with older women having a sexual life. It deals with homosexuality.
Mm-hmm.
It deals with so many issues that are like topical now.
Yeah.
Right. And they are savages. Oh my God. It's one of my favorite. Like the banter back and forth is out of this world.
They had such a great mix of people with B. Arthur and Betty White and what's her name? I always want to say Rue McClanahan, but God, I can't think of it. But I mean, they covered all the different viewpoints you could possibly think of. Yep. And the banter is just on point and hilarious.
Yeah, it's nonstop. Like if you're one of those friend groups, where like everyone always has a smart ass remark to say, right? That's what they do.
Yeah.
And you will laugh every episode.
Yep.
And sometimes you might cry.
Yeah.
Right. But she brought a lot of joy to this world, especially to me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Betty.
Tomorrow would have been her 100th. So anyway, let's roll into New Dawn.
Yeah.
And, we're getting drip fed Tau. And when I say drip, I mean, put your face on the fire hose and open it up. Because, oh my God, Tau are looking hot.
Yes. Yeah. If you're a fan of Tau because they shot the crap out of stuff, they're going to shoot the crap out of stuff better now.
And then shoot it again.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've been seeing all the stuff for the railgun is making the internet explode.
Oh,
right?
yeah. But then they started coming out with the Storm Surge guns, and you're just like, oh, the railguns are cute now. Yeah, whatever.
I mean, the Storm Surge doesn't ignore an invul. But, it just blows my mind, like, because as we'll talk about it, of course, the GSC and, Custodes codices just came out.
Yeah.
They're like, the fact that if a captain on Dawn Eagle jet bike is caught out, like, outside of lookout sir range, that the railgun will instant kill him.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh Lord. Yeah. Like when you think that railgun just shot that dude on a bike, you wouldn't think, oh yeah, that dude made it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. That guy's gone.
You're gonna have to think twice about how you, not just how you deploy, but how you move as you're engaging the Tau gun line, because it's going to be able to, if you screw up, it will decimate you. And you will be wondering what the hell happened to your army before you even get them into melee, which is how Tau should be.
Yes.
You will get them in melee and you will be able to beat on them.
Yep.
Getting to them should be a nightmare.
Oh, yeah. But they're making it so depending if you go Kalyon or Monka, like you can be very aggressive up front. So you push forward and, you could still shoot in combat with your battle suits. And I mean, nothing's floating around rumor-wise that shows that there's going to be any particular faction in Tau, or any seps, I should say, that get really strong like melee presence, which I wanted like Crisis suits to get like a melee upgrade sprue specifically for Farsight enclaves. But who knows? Maybe with one of the like Warzone supplements that come out down the line.
Yep.
If they're like, by the way, Farsight enclaves, they got combat potential now, right?
Yeah. They could. There's so many. I do love the way they're releasing things now. This basic Tau Codex looks like it's going to be hot.
Yeah.
And obviously some things probably may get toned down shortly, but who knows? But then with these, what's his names that they've been putting out, these war zones.
Yeah.
You can change the flavor of something in that area completely and not really screw the book up too badly.
Yeah.
So it's a good system, I think.
We've been getting some rumors on it too, just not confirmed yet, but some stuff floated around Reddit where someone appeared to have the Tau Codex.
Yeah.
It was Codex Cat. Mm-hmm. And some of the things coming out of that are amazing. Like, for example, Shadow Sun is Supreme Command.
Yes.
I'm like,
thank you.
Oh my God. I have her painted up so well too. Hopefully that means that she's not just like Tau Sept,
right?
Like if she can sort of command any Sept.
That's my hope, is that she's gone and become the Primarch, if you will.
Yeah.
So she can take on anybody.
Because if that's the case, then you can pair her up with Farsight, which they've paired up before in the lore. By the way, I started reading the Farsight books. And I'm in the first one, which is Crisis of Faith.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, it's so cool. Tau are a lot more interesting than I thought, man. It's kind of like Eldar, like when that Eldar episode of Hammer and Boulder came out, and you realize just how deep.
There's so much depth to that. And one of the things that always drew me to the Tau was that idea that that's such a strict and rigid society, and yet there's all these groups that have taken a look and gone, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is not the best way to be. And, you find that where they need the flexibility is in combat.
Yeah.
And so that's where it always seems to take root. And Farsight is the epitome of that idea, where he still holds true to the ideals.
Yeah.
He's just, we're going to go about it a very, very different way. And we're not going to just pay homage to some guy because he rides a disc.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's I haven't gotten to Empire of Lies yet, but I feel like that's supposed to like bring a lot of that to the forefront story-wise. So I'm excited to see what that says. I would like, in terms of, I guess one thing I could hope for, and I don't know if this is something could happen because it make her an auto-include in any army, but if Shadow Sun could make it so you had Kalyon and Monka.
Oh my Lord. Oh, hell no. They would ban that book.
Right. But, it's because that's a pure tide thing, a commander pure tide thing. And he's not a model or represented in the game.
Not a thing you can do.
Yeah, so. But that'd be so cool to be able to have that effect. I'm excited. I mean, even the base Fire Warriors, their guns are strength 5 base.
Thank you.
Holy crap.
I mean, they double down on the idea that Tau is a shooting army and their bread and butter is shooting.
Yeah.
And they're not going to play any other, although they do have the ability to play Psychic Phase now. But anyway, Tau are going to be good. Let's move on. Also up for order yesterday, or actually up for purchase yesterday, was Genestealer Cults. I think they're going to be a big loser, and Custodes, another probably big loser.
Yeah.
Dice Cards Codex. Genestealer Cults got okay.
They've got some crazy tricks. I think that they're in a much better position now because like in 8th they had like really interesting tricksy things they could do, but they just couldn't punch up. Right. And I feel like they've done a lot to make it so they can punch up now. But it's a different game now with how 9th changed everything with, really pushing, trying to get, certain objectives. Like they have volumes of fire.
Yeah.
They have tons of models on the field. They have the best gene stealers in the game now.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. Like when we do the escalation next month for 40K, I'll be kind of playing with them in Tyranids and trying to test them out.
Yep.
But they're a thinking army. Like you gotta really think long and hard about how you deploy and that kind of stuff. And so it's going to take a lot of games to get used to.
And that's the whole thing, is their shtick has always been that appear out of nowhere in such numbers that it's overwhelming and then disappear.
Yeah.
And you really, under the old Codex in 9th edition, you could not make that happen.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a mechanic that worked.
No.
Now that they have their ambush mechanic, they can be, again, like you said, it's the skill floor is pretty high on them.
Yeah.
You're not going to just take that book, throw a list together and rock it.
Yeah, and they did some like really important changes. So, they had that thing before where you couldn't end a move within 9 inches.
Yeah.
Right now they said you can't even move within 9 inches.
Yeah.
That's pretty big. But as far as important change is that when you're coming from ambush, you do not count as coming out of reinforcements.
Right.
So that way no one can do one of those reinforcements and start firing.
Yeah.
Command or stratagem. So
which every Space Marine player has in abundance.
Yeah.
So
sucks you can't do that against us anymore, guys.
Well, it makes sense because they pop out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It should not be just, oh, look, you popped out, I will mow you down.
Yeah.
No.
But the flavor, too, of, seize the means of production and rise up against the oppressors, like it's
Ascension
heavy.
Day. Yeah.
It's heavy in the Codex. Like the Kellermorph, right?
Oh, my God.
How he's described as like a folk hero that, will suddenly appear and, help like rally. And it's built into, it's a very fluffy army because of how it's structured, because of everything that it does. But I see potential.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of potential.
Oh, yeah. I think so. And Custodes, not wholesale changes here. Not tons of, oh, my God, this is so new. It's crazy. A lot of streamlined stuff to bring them into this edition and to make it just a little more flexible.
Yeah.
You're not locked into that one list anymore. So,
I mean, there's still a bunch of Chads, but
I'm not saying nothing. From a pure, this has nothing to do with the Codex or the players or anything about Custodes. I have always just not liked that army because of what they represent. To me, they're trash talking failures. And, they're always like, oh, we're so superior to everyone. Then why did you hide on Earth for 10,000 years, you losers?
Exactly.
But, now they're getting to play. And it's interesting how the appearance of Guilliman changed everything.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. Well, when I was watching that Eldar episode, because I only watched it recently, which that's a fail on my part, but I only watched it recently, but like the way that they like showed how the Space Marines come off to other races, right? I was just like, ugh. Like I was uncomfortable because they were jerks.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were straight up jerks. And I was like, yeah, I hope you die.
It's one of those things where you just have to keep it in your mind that in 40K, in AOS, there are no good guys. There's different flavors of bad guys. It's
true.
Yeah, it's
just true.
You have to kind of get, and they're quite adamant and honest about the fact that no one is right. Everyone is working off their opinion, their worldview or universe view, and they're just as wrong to a huge number of the population. I mean, there are people that hate Sigmar who are pure strain humans in the realms simply because of the things that Sigmar represents as well, but they don't love chaos either.
Yeah.
So it's, there's no one is the ultimate good guy, which, when you approach it, it gives us the fans, the nerds, if you will, it gives us the ability to argue for our side ad infinitum because you can't tell me I'm wrong. You just can't, I'm an adherent to the Custodes, and the Custodes are the best, and this is why, and blah, blah, blah. And you can run a litany of things why the Custodes are so much better than everyone else. And then I'm like, yeah, but you hid out on Earth for 10,000 years, so you're lame. And it just gives us so much freedom to operate our armies the way we want to. Whereas, if you had a very defined good guy, the Space Marines are righteous and they are always correct and they always are moral, it becomes bland to play because who wants that?
I mean, I would say we're waxing too philosophical here.
Aren't we though? In New Dawn.
But like, if we're speaking generally of like those, like good maybe being defined as the absence of evil, would be the orcs.
Sure.
They're not evil. They have no evil intentions. It's just they're a force of nature.
Yes.
Right? I guess one could consider them good in that way, but I think they're more amoral than anything. But, maybe that's more of an After Dark topic.
Yes, it is. It truly is. Let's move on to the big box that came out yesterday that threw me for a loop, because when I went to go do my pre-orders at the store yesterday, it wasn't available online. And when you clicked on the link, it wasn't available. Only a few hours into the order cycle did that box actually become available. It's called, what is it called?
It was Fire Slayers versus IDK, and it was like a war of salt and soot. I can't remember the exact.
Fury of something.
I don't know. Angry Naked Men versus
Angry Wet Men.
Yeah.
So it's an Idoneth Deepkin Fire Slayers box. As much as I hate to say it, this isn't a great box. I mean, value-wise, it's Fury of the Deep.
Fury of the Deep. There you go.
It's a really interesting box. It only comes in at $170, so it's a little cheaper than some of the other box sets. But honestly, there's two new models. There's the Arc Flamekeeper and the Achillean Thrallmaster. But then you get 5 Auric Hearthguard, 5 Hearthguard Berserkers, which could also be Hearthguard, and 10 Volkite Berserkers. For the Idoneth Deepkin, you get an Alopex, you get 10 Reavers and 10 Thralls. Now, if you're doing a new army, these are things you're going to need, but again, they're available in other ways.
Yeah, aside from the 2 heroes.
Yeah, right? These 2 brand new heroes. There's nothing really that drives me to say, well, like my wife does Idoneth Deepkin, and I'm like, I have everything in that box, and I'm sure by the time she gets around to it, that Thrallmaster will be out in his own clan pack.
You can kit bash him out of Thralls.
Yeah, I think this box is it's a weird place.
Yeah, I mean, I guess unless you're brand new and you got a buddy who wants the other faction.
Right.
And you really want to play those models, I don't see a lot of people picking it up. Though I think, the hardcore Fire Slayers, hardcore Deepkin players will want it.
There's a value there. And, you can eBay or sell, like you said, split the box with somebody else.
Yeah, if you just want the heroes and, part the other stuff off. I mean, I saw online a bunch of people were like, how do I get Thralls? And I'm like, did y'all just realize they have 2-inch reach? Like,
yeah, I mean, these are good units. Yeah, they have 2-inch reach and Stormcast don't.
Yeah.
With weapons that are 3 times the size. But anyway,
hey, for my money, Thralls look cooler.
So yeah, I mean, if you're splitting this box, $85 for those 2 groups of models is phenomenal. That's a great deal.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to say it's not a good value box, but it's kind of so niche that you're going to have to find the person that wants the other half, or, maybe you play both. If you're established at playing both, you already have probably enough of both of those sets.
Yeah.
That you don't need it. And at that point, paying $85 for a hero becomes, let's not do that.
Yeah.
So that's the Fury of the Deep box. It was kind of a weird thing yesterday, but whatever. So
now we got Warhammer Underworld releases. We got Black Powder's Buccaneers and the Illusory Might Universal deck.
Oh, yeah.
I think everyone's stoked for this.
Yeah, it's
Ogre Pirate and Stabbing Monkey. Yeah.
Hello, sign me up. Right? We're getting to the point now to where we can have the all crazy animal list.
Yeah.
We're going to be able to have Stabby Crab and, this is going to be fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. It's such great design space. And like when they truly give IDK an update if there aren't battle crabs, man, I don't know how the community is going to react.
I don't know.
I feel like there's got to be battle crabs.
It screams for them.
Yeah, like you will make money. I will buy crabs.
You will print money with battle crabs.
Yes.
And they're different iterations, bigger, smaller. Yeah, just do it. This is a free one from us. So we don't have to pay us royalties or whatever.
Yeah.
Just make the crabs, make the money.
Yeah. Nurgle Blood Bowl stuff came out, the pitch, the dice, and the cards. Dice look awesome.
They do. They are so cool looking.
I just love it. I just love those dice,
I did order the dice just because I think they'll be good to have in my regular Nurgle force as, these are the wounds from, the leader or what, or, something that's a different wound profile.
Yeah, I think that's good. And then the Aeronautica Imperialis companion came out.
Oh, thank you.
Bill's the only one who's excited about it.
I don't know why. Like I said, when I get back, I have this laundry list of things that are going to happen the minute I get back from LVO. And doing an AI day over at the store is going to be one of them. Building my New Year, New Army for Hobbit is going to be the other one. Smog is like, hey, that's my New Year, New Army. Yay. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be, AI is just such a fun game. In this book, it's going to pull the rules in from the different separate sources and then have different profiles for some of the machines that they have put in just White Dwarfs and what have you. It's going to pull all those things together. So I'm totally jazzed for that. And of course, I think somewhere, maybe Forge World, maybe the Necron flyers were supposed to be out this weekend. I think it's actually Forge World that they're coming out on. I'm not sure. So,
all right, but it is after 11 o'clock Mountain Time, so we do have pre-order stuff. It's frankly not what I hoped, but we got it. So starting us off, we got the chapter-approved Warzone Necromunda Grand Tournament Pack and Munitorum Field Manual 2022. They had talked about how they're going to go to seasons in 40K to keep the competitive thing moving along. So we got this one here. I think this one is supposed to revisit Vigilus. Yeah. So be interesting to see how the story progresses because it seems like, with the seasons, they're trying to be more aggressive with the story.
Yes.
Which I can dig.
And they're doing a great job with it. It's, they're not moving things together as big as like when Guilliman came back, but they're moving it forward. You don't feel this stagnation in the 40K world. So, yay.
Oh, so this is interesting what they're saying here. As a catastrophic conflict between Tyranids and Orcs spilled out of its zone of confinement, the Imperium was forced to commit its own troops, and now it's even easier to get in on the action. So, interesting, because they're talking about Kill Team. So they got the Kill Team starter set. It's going to be a base little bit of terrain, but it comes with the Commandos and the Death Corps.
Yep. It looks like a reissue of the box, right?
Yeah, it doesn't have all the major terrain.
Oh, you're right. It doesn't have the bigger stuff.
Yeah, it looks like they parted it out.
It's got scattered terrain, yep.
It looks like they're going to be selling the individual Kill Team and for Commandos and Veteran Guardsmen, if I'm reading this correctly. Yep.
Box contains 10 Death Corps. Okay, so here it comes, folks. All you that whined about only being able to get Death Corps in the box, here they are separately. Same thing with the Commandos.
Yep.
Huzzah!
And the Octarius book itself. So it looks like they really just parted out the Octarius.
The big box. Yep.
Because you can also get the kill zone for it too, which is it's all just great terrain. So if you didn't get a copy, if you want to get some of the terrain, Kill Zone Octarius will be out as well. Necromunda, heyo.
What's that?
Yeah, it's a weird game some people play.
Oh, is that under GW? Oh, I thought it was another company. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's someone who just 3D prints on Etsy. So they're re-releasing the Hive Scum. There was such a large demand for it initially, like it's sold out immediately.
Yeah, sure did.
And so they're going to be re-releasing the Hive Scum, so that way if you want to play the Outcasts and you want to have those very generic looking characters, then you can do so. They're going to have the Delac weapon upgrades, which is good.
Yeah, that's good for your Outcast groups too, because they're going to be stealing from everybody.
Oh yeah.
So,
and that's one of the coolest thing about the Outcast group. If you wanted to make a true hodgepodge, like story driven, like gang, this is the way to do it.
Yeah.
There's so many cool ways to get your own storyline going with that. Like I started to do this all female gang that's not just Escher, right? So I'm borrowing from different things. It's real fun. And then Delok, of course, some decent weapons built into there.
Yeah.
Looking pretty nice.
The underdog card pack.
Underdogs.
So you get your cards for the underdogs.
Oh, look at this. Outnumbered, outgunned, 400 credits short of a fair fight. These underdog tactics cards will help you pull enough shenanigans to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. See, I like that because if you're playing a campaign, there are times where, someone, just because you had so many casualties and someone hasn't,
sure,
you're underneath. And so this is going to help with that.
That's awesome. That is a huge thing right there.
Slopper and Scabber. Are these going to be plastic?
Handle themselves in a skirmish. They appear to, I don't know. I honestly don't know. It doesn't say what they're going to be.
Yeah, it doesn't say, because like the next thing after that was the Rat Ogre remake.
Yeah, for Blood Bowl.
And those are almost exclusively on Forge World.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know where they're coming from, but the Slopper and the Scabber could be real interesting. Those are absolutely disgusting miniatures. Particularly the Slopper. But they could be very handy, and I love that Rat Ogre. It's so pretty. Then they got the Warhammer Imperium.
Yep, the magazine, issue 5. Let me see here. First issue, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I guess they are going to release it in North America now and parts of Europe. First issue, Imperium is, if you don't know, it's that subscription. It's basically like a big magazine. Comes with some models. Someone did the math in the chat group, and basically, if you buy all the magazines, you're going to have 2,000 points worth of models, or $2,000 worth of models for less than 1,000.
Okay.
And you're doing it incrementally. You're buying it at magazine price, so it's not like, plunk out $1,000 and get a big army. You're going to get these at a more manageable pace, and inside the magazine is not only some lore and fluff and rules, but also how to build it, how to paint it, a little more in-depth than you might find in your average little article.
I mean, I think this could be good for starting players.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you're a big fan of, Space Marines or Necrons.
Yep.
If not, then it's just...
It's a miss for you. But, I mean, it's for the people that it's aimed at, it's this is going to be a great way to get into it. And, again, it's that gentle exposure to the hobby where you're not spending $90 for a box of something and you're not sure if you'll ever really use those.
Yep.
You'll spend $15 for the magazine and you'll find out whether or not they're good in the game.
Yeah. A lot of stuff from Black Library.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, so we got looks like Krieg is coming out.
Yeah, a deathcore novel by Steve Lyons.
I can dig it. Hardback, ebook, and audiobook.
Yep.
Day of Ascension, which I will be getting.
Probably.
Looks like a female Kellermorph on the cover.
Yeah.
I am here for it.
Adrian Tchaikovsky. I don't know that author.
Me either.
So
I'm interested.
Me too.
I'm interested. Adeptus Sororitas fans, we're gonna get 2 books. So we got the look at that cover.
The Triumph of St. Catherine is a hardback premium book. Beautiful, beautiful book.
Limited to 2,000.
Yep.
Oof.
And then the Book of Martyrs is going to come out in softback and audio.
I can dig it. Masters of the Hunt Omnibus. So all you White Scars fans out there. And then it looks like Urdesh, the Serpent and the Saints, coming to audiobook.
Yay.
Das Hellwinter Tor by Chris Raitt.
Yep, in German, because it's got that flag.
Yep.
Nice. And then this week on Warhammer Plus, Hammer and Bolter Artifacts, Ideneth Deepkin Skin Tones.
Okay.
All right, I'm down. I'll watch Louise paint anything.
Is that Lore Master on the Glockkin?
I don't know.
That's the Vault. That's the Vault.
Yeah, that's the Vault.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, they're adding Glockkin to the Warhammer Vault, the End Times book.
Yep.
Very nice, because I have the Archeon book, but I didn't really, I was not into Warhammer Fantasy at that point, so the End Times kind of went right by me. I bought the Archeon book just because Archeon's so flippin' cool.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't buy any of the others, so having it available is going to be awesome. Digging it.
All right, I think we finally got to the end of New Dawn.
Jesus. Yeah. Okay, good. All right, let's take a quick break, see where we're at with brunch, and we'll be back with creation.
Sounds good.
Okay, we're back for some creation after having brunch. Pretty good brunch, I'd say.
I'd agree.
Yeah. She does all right when it comes to cooking. Now, my excuse for not painting a whole heck of a lot over the last 3 weeks is I have a bad case of trigger finger on my thumb. So I basically can't bend it without pretty intense pain. So I can't really hold the brush. But before that happened, I did manage to get 8 more Crisis Protocol heroes done.
Just 8. I mean, it's just a few.
A couple. But I tell you what, this is making it to where, you know, I'm putting off doing the terrain stuff for LVO until the ends. It's getting better every day, but it's really a handicap. It's when you can't move your thumb, it hurts. So it's annoying. I did want to throw a shout out to Cephalopod Studios and the Grim Grip. I was going to show it to you.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I saw that over there.
Yeah. It's
wow.
So I have made do with the GW hobby holders for quite some time, and I actually truly love them. I think they're great. I like the way they clip onto the base and give you a very secure feeling. And then I saw somebody do a review of these Grim Grips, and they're $40 a piece. They're not cheap. You're not going to buy a ton of these, or maybe you are. I don't know. But they're basically a handle and then a 1-inch ball bearing and then a platform. Everything is connected magnetically. And what it allows you to do is manipulate the figure into all kinds of different setups or angles without actually having to turn your hand completely. So you can get really all the different angles on a model without changing your grip. And it's just, I never would have thought I would like anything more than the GW little paint handles. And it turns out I like these a lot, a great deal. And so I liked it so much that I made a knockoff. I ordered the magnets and the ball bearings from Amazon.
Yeah.
And just turned a handle on the lathe and turned a platform on the lathe.
Yeah.
And I don't have strong enough magnets. These are significantly weaker than theirs. But I've got newer magnets on order, so I'm probably gonna make a couple more. They're very, very cool. So it's Cephalopod Studios. I will have a link in the show notes if you want to check them out. They're super handy when you want to do like detail work on a hero figure or, you know, a warlord or what have you. Definitely worth the price.
You know, my first time handling is Bill handed one to me just now, and I love it. It's got a nice grip to it. And it flows like Bill said. Like, I mean, when Bill was, you know, manipulating the one that he made, I mean, he was doing it with his bad thumb, and, you know, he can do it without pain. So if you too are an old man who wants to paint and you do have issues with your thumb, you too can paint your miniatures without much pain.
Yes.
With these no, but they look great. I could really see how that's very valuable. I mean, the kind of angles you can get there are great. Because one of the things with the GW stuff is that, like, the handle is always in the same place, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this, you know, like, you really want to get somewhere, but instead of, like, tipping it and trying to angle your hand just right, considering that you got the handle there, you could just literally tip it back.
You tip it back, you twist it in whatever angle you need, and it makes it so nice.
Yeah.
So highly recommended. And just as a note, if you ordered one of the Squidmar airbrushes, I got mine, and I'm usually, like, last on the list of getting things shipped to me. So it's a very cool airbrush. I mean, it's a Harder and Steenbuck Evolution. It's really nice. I just, you know, throw in a little bit of cash at Squidmar. So, cause he's a cool dude, I think. I don't know, he might be really bad. He might hurt cats. I don't know, but he seems cool. So that one came in, but other than that, that's about all my creation. What do you got?
All right. So I only did a few things. So I built and primed 6 Hive Guard and 6 Tyranid Warriors.
Those are small models.
Yeah. They're really easy to put together.
Yeah.
To be frank, you know, they're not too many pieces. I feel like somewhat like Hormagaunts and Termagants are more of a pain in the butt to put together.
Yeah.
These ones actually fit together really nicely. I really enjoyed it. The Tyranid Warriors look so cool.
Don't they though?
Yeah, I mean they're great. The Hive Guard are great too. Then this will figure a little bit more in battle, and then a little bit in when we get to the lore section. But my wife had painted up a Lord of Afflictions and 2 of the Puscoil Blight Lords because she just loves painting them. But she painted them like a couple of years ago, and I didn't go do the finishing touches on them, right?
Yeah.
So I actually had to like dust them off, do all that, and I went and made sure I did all the basing on them. because I do for my AOS Nurgle, it's all like a green field, so it looks super pretty.
A card.
I mean, who would have thought, right? So I based Buzz Daddy and the Flyboys. I based my Beast of Nurgle that I painted like a sweaty, mole-ridden, blackhead-filled fat ginger boy.
You are so gross.
So I based that in, with the lovely grass, just rolling on through. I built and primed Star-Lord, Rocket, and Groot.
Yay!
Woohoo! I did paint one of the Hive Guard, by the way.
Oh, cool.
I built 3 of the 4 Adeline Jackals from one kit. God.
How about the mold lines on that model?
Heinous. Just heinous. I bought 2. You can only do a max of 8 Jackals plus 2 Wolf Quads in a unit now. And I'm like, do I really want to go through another 5 models with this kind of... I don't know. I've already got the 5. I've got the 4 plus the Wolf Quad. This will be my second set. It's like, maybe I'll just leave it there. I don't know. But then I also test painted my Gene Stealer Cult colors.
Oh, yeah.
So the armor is going to be yellow, and the cloth is going to be purple, and then the boots and leathers will all be black. So I did just real quick test paint on one of the neophytes. I really like it. I kept trying to say, don't paint yellow, Josh. It's annoying. And I was like, no, this is a way for me to, as a sort of, not masterclass for myself, but way for me to slug through yellow.
Knuckle down and get it down. Yeah.
Because if I paint an entire GSC army of yellow armor, I'm going to know yellow real freaking well.
Real good by the time you're done.
And I really want to know yellow that well. So, yeah, that's what I did for creation.
And while you were saying that, it hit me. This is another big use for contrast paints, either the GW contrast paints or the new Army Painter speed paints that are coming up here pretty shortly. I think they're available for pre-order now. It's basically Army Painter's version of contrast.
Yep.
But you can test paint schemes with that really easy and just see if it appeals to you. I mean, it might not be the exact shades you want.
Yeah.
But it'll give you an idea if your paint scheme works on a model. And once you're done, if you get contrast before it really sets in, I mean, if you're talking within a few hours, that stuff comes right off with alcohol.
Yeah.
So it's a neat way to test paint schemes.
I agree. I was doing the old school method because I based it in, primed my GSC in Mechanica Standard Gray. And so then it was just layering up yellow.
Yep.
Using Phoenician Purple and Abaddon Black.
Nice.
Really, that was fun to paint. It was fun.
Okay, let's get into battle, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, so as I swore I would do, I played a game with Nurgle with Thricefold Befoulment.
Yes.
And like I said on here, that game was super fun for me. Not so much my opponent. So Denny was nice about it. He took his Daughters of Cain up against the Thricefold Befoulment. And actually going into the game, we figured this game would be over probably turn 3.
Yeah.
Just with the sheer amount of damage he was going to be able to do. And we went to the bottom of 6 where I lost by 2 points. So I was truly amazed at how well it worked.
Holy cow.
Although, again, against like a Toon Daughters list, it would not have survived past 4, I don't think. But he just didn't. He had a lot of damage output, but not like a big snake list would or what have you. But his comment was, it was a fun game. He won. Yay. And he's like, but I would not want to redo that game for anything because it was just the frustration of having to slog through all these disease points, slogging through all of this. Oh, I did 8 wounds. You took 1. It just got so, oh my God. And then, my ability to just pretty much cast spells at will was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And just throwing disease around like it was. I had a record and I think I left it in my briefcase at work. But the first turn I did 8 models killed for disease. On the second turn, 14 models were killed from disease.
Oh, love it.
On the third turn, 18 models went away. On the fourth turn, it was down to like 5. And then it was 5 and I think 3 on turn 6, just because there was so much stuff already dead.
Yeah.
It was disease was the mechanic you have to get behind. It's amazing.
So why'd you go to turn 6? The game ends at turn 5.
Okay. Because we wanted to play it out.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's, as much as he was hating the game, he was like, no, one more turn. I want to table your ass. I want to be able to say I killed all 3 of those things. So, it was just a...
So were all 3 of them alive at the end of turn 5?
No, one was left standing. I had Rodigus at the end.
Okay.
And I had taken the one with the Bale Sword and the Bile Blade, one with the Bell, which I didn't really want to do, but I had left. I have all my Guos magnetized, and I had left the other sword back at home. So I said, I just run them as a Bell,
Yeah.
So.
How much summoning did you get off?
Not as much as I thought, because all I brought was extra Plague Bearers.
Oh, okay.
And
they're 14 to bring in 10.
They're 14 to bring in 10, but they're, 20 wounds worth of them. He chewed through the first group of, I forward deployed 2 groups of 10. Yeah. And then I had one group to go take another objective. And by turn 2, he had chewed through one of them and was pretty much down to 1 or 2 on the other one. But it was still causing disease points.
Yeah.
No matter how few models, it was still doing its thing. And then by that time, I was able to summon in the replacements. And that was the other thing that was frustrating for him was the summoning was just annoying because I lost the original 3 and brought 3 units back. Holy
cow.
So, yeah, it worked.
Holy cow.
Yep.
Yeah, that must have been annoying to fight again.
Yeah, and it's, we basically agreed if this had been a different Nurgle list, not the thrice full, it would have been a lot more fun. There would have been a lot more interactivity and engagement.
Yeah.
But as it was, I was just basically sitting there going, and that unit dies, and that unit dies each turn. And he was having to struggle against the disease as well as my natural disgusting resilience, buffed up by when the 3 great unclean ones are out there, they're pretty tough.
Yeah.
Now, as they started to die, he was able to concentrate more and more firepower.
Yep.
So, yeah, and I think he should have probably gone after Rodigus first.
Yeah.
And not the Bane or Bile Blade guy.
I mean, Rodigus is nasty right now.
Yeah, and his ability to put out spells was super helpful.
Oh, totally.
Yep.
Whereas the other ones, I mean, you can take the Bile Blade and take a mortal to, cast an additional spell.
Yep.
Still not as good as his native casting, So if you're taking a Guo for its casting potential, you just take Rodigus, the same price.
Yeah.
Unless you're trying to throw a particular artifact on it or warlord trait, I've got a lot of thoughts because that's my new army.
Yeah.
Renew army.
There you go. So what about your games?
So I walked into the shop on Friday, and I forgot that that's when Anders was starting the escalation. Bunch of people are playing games. I'm like, what the heck's going on? Oh, it started today. So I'm watching. One guy's playing Feck. One guy was playing Soul Blight. So I was playing Daughters, and then I saw some Hedonites.
Wow,
I saw
good mix.
Spider Riders and Skaven. So it was real interesting, mix out there. And so I watched the first game because, buddy Seth was playing this guy who's newer. I think he played a total of maybe 3 or 4 games before that game with Seth. And Seth took this. I looked at his list and was like, bro, that's real thin. Because it was Soul Blight. I don't know which bloodline he took, but his leader was a vamp. He had 3 Vargeist, 3 bats, and 20 zombies.
Damn.
And that was it.
Wow.
And it was up against an abhorrent archregent, 20 ghouls, 10 ghouls, and then he could summon in another 20.
Oh.
Yeah, so Soul Blight lost that one.
A little.
Yeah, they would. And, the guy was like, oh, I just think, Feck's really strong at 500 points. And I was like, all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
If someone takes that list. But he's a newer player, and I wanted him to be able to flex and stuff like that. So, he came back and asked me, hey man, do you want to play? I was like, I don't have an army or dice or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew's like, oh, well, we've got your Mega Gargant in the display case. And I was like,
God.
You're right. And I've got the book on my phone. Can you give me some dice and a measuring tape? And he's like, yep. And so the first game, I'm like, this guy's never played Gargants before. I'm not going to be a dick.
Yeah.
Right. So I essentially just pushed him to the middle of the board and then just like let him beat on the Mega Gargant.
Yeah.
It literally came down to one save.
Oh my God.
If I had made that one save, I would have fired back and killed his abhorrent Archregent, would have wiped him off the board.
Oh my God.
And I literally just sat him there. I didn't take, the Amulet of Destiny for
Right.
the 6-up.
Of course. Yeah.
I took, was it Krakenskin Sandals, and I made him very acquisitive because it was Taker Tribe.
Yeah.
And took the Arcane Tome.
Okay.
And then just tried to Mystic Shield myself. I was like,
Sure.
I'm not going to Flaming Weapon. That's a mean. But so then he ends up killing the Mega Gargant. I was like, cool, you want to play again? I was like, yeah, okay. And I was like, all right, so this time, one of the things too is like, I know this guy's a newer player, but he didn't, I don't know if he didn't realize or if he hasn't been educated on the fact that when you have a 1-inch range on 25 mil bases, you need to stagger them so they tuck in, because
Right.
he was running them like lined up. And I was like, you are outside of an inch.
Yep.
Right. I was like, I'm not going to hit him so hard on that as I am going about his movement.
Yeah.
Right. Because I want to like very like work him into
Sure.
minor criticisms and reminders. Right. So we play again. He goes first, and this time I'm like, well, it's not going to be so easy for you this time. So he moves up, he gets off his spells and stuff. So then I'm like, cool. I move up, I crash into his unit of 20 ghouls that are protecting his abhorrent Archregent, right? Take him down to 6 remaining.
Oh.
Right. And then I get the double turn.
Oh God.
And so before I even get to combat, I kill 5 more of the ghouls, and he had put his abhorrent Archregent too close.
Oh God. Oh my.
So I was like, Pylon, and then, because it's a Kraken Eater, right? There was 1 ghoul remaining. So I piled in around the 1 ghoul
Of
to
course.
get his abhorrent Archregent. I pulled in a unit of 20 Cryptic Ghouls. It didn't matter.
Sure.
But I did that, and then I just picked up the remaining ghoul and put it in the bag. I was like, cool, now I'm going to focus all my attacks on your guy. All out attack. Oh, and 2, like, he didn't understand what was happening when I get the double, and then I say, hey, I'm activating my finest hour, and he's like, my finest hour against 6 ghouls seems weird, but okay. And I was like,
yeah, no.
hold on, you're going to learn.
Yeah. It's a teaching moment.
Yeah, so wiped his abhorrent Archregent out. Then he tried to come in with the ghouls,
Not
and then
gonna
once his
happen.
ghouls charged in, and I did my pile in, I picked up both of the leaders from the different things, so then he can't even issue
Yeah.
any type of orders, and then I just killed them all.
Yes.
And I was like, all right, so let's talk about what you did.
Yeah.
Right? So, when you move, you need to be cognizant of what you move around, because that reduces the amount of movement that you get, right? And he did do a proper like movement phase when he came around and like stacked them behind instead, because he was like wrapping them around walls as if the wall wasn't there.
Right.
And I was like, unless you have fly, my man, you can't
You
do that.
can't do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's a teachable moment. Then afterwards talking about how like, I know it's 500 points, right? Try bringing a courtier for your crypt ghouls.
Yes.
Right. And he got all like offended. And I was like, what, why are you so offended? Like, try it out. Like, this is the time to try it out. Because Anders' escalation, he says it's points that escalate. It's not, you have to take the same list every
Sure.
time.
Yeah.
I was like, that's great. That means you can actually experiment and try
you
and
can
find out what
test
works.
different things. And, yeah.
He's like, well, why'd I do that? Because if I summon a courtier, it's not as good as summoning 20 ghouls. And I was like, well, if you summon a Vargul, if that's one thing. But I'm saying keep a Crypt Ghoul courtier for 70 points in your list.
Yeah.
Because you know what returns models to those Crypt Ghouls?
Yeah.
The courtier
The courtier
does.
And returning stuff is hugely powerful.
Right? Especially if, you get put in a bag so many times. So that was fun. I mean, like, it was, a good teachable moment.
Sure.
Then yesterday, taking the Nurgle finally.
Yay.
So I took Buzz Daddy and the Fly Boys for their, start of their world tour.
Is that your new rock band?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Lord of Afflictions, 2 Pusco Blight Lords. Comes out to 430 points.
Oh, my God.
So I took Inspired as a Triumph. I have, like, literally no idea what else I could take.
Yeah.
there's nothing for 70 points. And I didn't take the Arcane Tome, so it's not like I could take Burning Head or something, you know? Because I gave him the Split Horn Helm and Overpowering Stench, which, by the way, holy crap, it's overpowered Stench. That ability is ridiculous.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you know, like, I'm going to all-out defense. You can't.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
But why, what? But the rules say.
So the first match I did was against BCR. So BCR at 500 points is 2 Mournfang and Huskard on Thunder Tusk. And it was like right at 500.
Damn.
And so I was Drown Man, of course.
Yeah.
And I deployed first and ran up the board and just raffle stomped the Mournfang. You know, like, I know it's not high damage attacks that they're doing.
Right.
You know, but with the combination of the Dolorous Toxin on the charge and the disease points is stacked up. The disease points are what finished off the second Mournfang. But man, 3s and 3s?
Yeah.
It's still 3s and 3s.
Yeah. It's weight of dice matters.
Yeah. And, you know, I all out attacked my my Lord of Afflictions because he has the D3.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, chewed through one Mournfang like instantly, and the other one was down to 1 wound, and it popped on the disease roll.
Yeah.
And then he gets his turn, brings in the Thunder Tusk, and just disgusting resilience is ridiculous. Yeah. Oh, I will say, when I rolled my Cycle of Corruption, I first round I had the one where you couldn't pile in.
Oh God. Oh shit.
So,
whoopsie.
You know, it was just funny. It was just funny. Yeah, Lord of Afflictions did work. He ends up killing one of my Puscoil Blight Lords, but then I have OP Stench, and he isn't able to buff anything else. He gets the double turn, right? So one Puscoil's dead. No, he doesn't get the double turn. That's what he kills one Puscoil, but he couldn't pile in.
Right.
Right? It was just like, sorry, dude.
Yeah.
You can't get in range of attacks. That sucks. And then the next one goes to where Diseaser on a 3-up. So the Huskard on Thunder Tusk didn't last very long.
Oh, God.
And I managed to summon 3 Nurglings and get all my battle tactics and stuff.
God.
You know, it was just like, it was a super quick game. I was just so surprised. I mean, we play on 500 points. It's a small board.
Yeah.
Right? The movement, like 8 inches is significant on that board.
Sure is.
So, you know, pregame move. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that every day.
I'm wherever I want to be.
Yeah.
Second game yesterday was against Cruel Boys. It was the Troggoth. The guy on Troggoth, Mire Brute. Unit of 10 Gut Rippas and 3 Bolt Boys. So I had an opponent. I played him like tons of times before. It's Steven. I don't remember Steven. He's like an engineering kid from Los Alamos.
Oh, right.
He paints like super bright metallic-y colors on all of his stuff. So, you know, I explained everything that my army did to him, you know, like ahead of the game, like I should. I was like, what's your artifact? He's like, Arcane Tome. Okay, anything special going on? No, it's just the Arcane Tome. I'm like, okay. And you know, is there anything else? He's like, that's it, you know. And so then I find out in his hero phase that he took Nasty Hex. I'm like, oh, okay. So you took a spell that actually matters in this game, but you didn't tell me. Okay. I thought you were just going to stick with Mystic Shield and Arcane Bolt, but I guess, you know, we're playing that game.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden he has a Warlord trait that lets him retreat and charge. And I'm like, okay, buddy, like communication's a thing.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I still beat him.
Okay.
You know, the Gut Rippas, they just dropped. Like that Wombo combo, that power pair of Lord of Affliction and Pusco of Blight Lord is too good.
They're very, very good.
They do a lot of damage.
Yes.
Like, I know I wasn't fighting stuff with like really good saves, but at the end of the day, they were still sticking a lot of damage. And I don't know, maybe it's because I still use my old Nurgle dice. Right? The ones with the
get rid of those.
The squishy, boobos.
Oh my God, those things are so broken. They should be outlawed. They are so broken. I mean, right there, you can tell how they're going to roll. It's basic physics says. God.
I don't know. They tend to roll like equitably for me.
Oh God, no.
There have been times where I'm like, all right, I should be able to do this. 3 1s and a 2. Okay. That did happen a couple times. I botched so many disgusting resilience saves yesterday. It was horrible. Yeah, OP Stench is OP.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's 100% OP.
It's good stuff. You know, people are dogging the Nurgle book. I think they just haven't played it enough.
Oh yeah.
You know, I think there's a lot of things in there that are a lot of fun.
Yeah, when we get to my part of New Year, Renew Army, I'll go on a rant about that.
Okay.
But that brings us to
the lore. And you know what? It's New Year, New Army. Not just the GW version of New Year, New Army, but, we've decided that we're going to do new things or things that we haven't done a lot of in the past. And for me, that means OCR Bone Reapers.
Heck yeah.
Now, this is, I have been toying with this army, and then I would go and move back to Seraphon, and then I moved back to Stormcast, and then blah, 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 blah. And it's now time to knuckle down and get these OCRs done because I really enjoy them. I love playing them. I have a good time painting them because they're super easy.
Heck yeah.
With White Dwarf 272 on the horizon and all the corrections. So I'm going to take a brief sidelight here to talk about the things that are going to come out in White Dwarf 272. I think it goes up for pre-order, or it pre-ordered yesterday. So it should be in our hands this weekend. But, Goonhammer, there's a bunch of places that have it already, and they've been talking about pretty much espousing the changes. So as far as Relentless Discipline goes, minor change, tightening the language from the FAQ to specify the OCR command ability. So it's going to allow you to use the new command abilities granted to the army in the White Dwarf article. But other than that, it's pretty much as written. But again, it still does not allow you to do two command abilities to affect the same unit, which is the way they used to play. But it doesn't really jibe with the current edition, the AOS 3.0. So, lose a little bit, but I'm not thinking that OCR are going to come out and just rip the tables apart and be the new thing. But they're getting some fun stuff. So the new command abilities they're going to get are, and I swear to God, it's Reknit Constructs, Unflinching Coordination, and Unstoppable Advance. And the first half a dozen times I read through these articles, I was like, what the hell is Reknit Constructs? And then it dawns on me, and it's like, reknit, you idiot. I'm like, I are English. I get it. Okay, so of the three abilities, Unstoppable Advance remains exactly the same as before. It adds 3 inches of movement. The Reknit Construct allows you to heal D3 models in a unit or return up to that many wounds worth of models so long as that unit is more than 3 inches from enemy models and has not moved in the movement phase.
Okay.
So free.
That's fair.
Yeah, it kind of aligns with the others.
Yeah.
But because they're a little bit more of a mobile death army, there should be a drawback.
Yeah.
There should be something that keeps you from being able to engage and reknit your units. So not too bad of a deal.
That's really good counter to shooting.
Yeah, it sure is.
That's really good.
Sure is.
Yeah. Sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no. I know. This is one of the reasons why I want to go back to it is because of all these new cool abilities. The Unflinching Coordination allows a hero that has already fought to order a non-hero unit to fight immediately after him. So kind of a follow me thing.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, it has to be within 3 inches. And of course, you have to have RDPs for these Relentless Discipline points. So having back-to-back combat activations can be very critical. If you've left something on a number of wounds, that means it gets to activate and do whatever it wants. You might be able to turn that off.
So it's a character that triggers it on another unit?
Yeah, allows a hero that has already fought to order a non-hero unit to fight immediately after it.
See, I just immediately think of the cavalry.
Yeah.
With that.
Yeah, that to me is the big one.
Yeah, like there's not too many good foot heroes that would be fighting.
That are going to be stuck in, yeah.
Yeah. Unless
that's a pretty much cavalry.
Well, I guess if you bring the Underworlds guy, he's kind of choppy in combat.
Point. Yeah.
But other than that, like, God, that's a really good combo too with Archon.
Mm-hmm.
Because Archon's not too bad and he's no slouch. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no worries. That's what we're here for. So there's 2 new heroic actions for the Bone Reapers in the article. Ooh. As heroic leadership does nothing for you, now there's 2 more to pick from. You have Relentless Leadership, new heroic action unique to the Bone Reapers, allowing 1 hero to issue free command abilities for a turn as long as they're from the OCR command abilities list, which is why they went up at the beginning and made that specific has to be OCR command ability.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So basically, you have a battery out there that's just going to churn out command abilities. Thank you.
Sorry I'm having this reaction. I just hadn't read this article yet. So I guess I'm ditching Nurgle now.
They're so yesterday.
That's so last year. We're talking new year.
Yeah, new year. And then the other heroic ability is Necromantic Mastery. So Mortison heroes. So that's Bone Shapers, Soul Masons.
Reknit.
English are hard.
You got to name your general Reknit now.
I am.
Yeah.
His name will be Rek-Nit.
Yep.
So Mortison heroes, Mercanon, Bone Shapers, Soul Masons, Soul Reapers can use this heroic action to mean that the first spell they cast each round, get this, cannot be unbound.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's hot.
Techless, eat this.
Well, and the thing about it is the OCR Bone Reaper's magic is so poor anyway.
Yeah.
That this basically gives you a way to get that buff off without getting it thrown back in your face. So, it's that to me is a very good ability.
I mean, like a clutch, was it Soul Guide or whatever the Soul Mason does?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Because he puts that on like D3? Or no, he can cast it D3 more times or something.
Right,
like that,
yes.
Right? Oh, okay. So the first time it'd be okay.
First time it's unbindable, which is, it gives them the ability to play in the magic phase because they don't have any real magic pluses. They don't have any pluses to cast.
I don't know, man. That makes Archon spicy. Well, I don't know if he counts as Mortison. Does he?
No, I don't think so. Yeah,
Okay.
no. Nope.
Well, I mean, you could still pop off a Mystic Shield without it being countered.
Yeah,
That's clutch.
there's going to be a lot of times where there's something you really want to have happen, but you're so tired of, just the generic magic user being able to unbind it. So
I just want to see, all those techless players just vibrating with frustration that they can't auto unbind your spell.
Oh, God. What do you mean? That's my rule. Yeah, and my rule says you can't. So. Yeah. And can't is bigger than can in this game. There's a new grand strategy for the OBR called Unrelenting Efficiency. It requires you to have a Mortek Guard or Cavalos Death Rider, one of your battle line units, alive at the end of the battle with full units left. So now, sounds harder than it is because OCR can come back. Bone Reapers come back.
Yep.
But if you don't have the bottom of 5, you could very easily lose this one to, just splash damage. So it doesn't take a lot to lose that one. So it's kind of iffy, although if you have the manpower to have a unit just sit on a back objective and be reasonably out of combat, it might be worth it. It all depends on what your plan is. Again, These are grand strategies, so you kind of have to have a plan for these.
Yes.
Battle tactics, they have Trample the Defiant, so it requires you to have a Cavalos Death Rider unit, which is my army is going to be basically cavalry.
I don't know who runs those. It's weird.
I do.
They're so cool.
I know, God. It has to be within 3 inches of the enemy at the end of the turn.
Okay.
But you also have to not have killed your opponent. You have to have been within range of it at the beginning and then be within 3 inches of it at the end, but not have it off the table. So you have to basically be holding a unit in place. Super easy against the really big things.
Yeah.
Like a giant. Go figure. Really going to be hard against like a unit of 5 or 3 long strike bowmen or something, or 5 of the sentinels or something. So again, it's a battle tactic, so you'll use it when it seems appropriate.
That feels like one of those ones where you have to be very clever with pile-ins, because if it's not like a unit that can really tank it, then you just, let's pile up to 3 inches.
Right.
Right? So then I'm not going to move. I'm just going to stab you with 6.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yep. Then there's Unfeeling Recursion. You score it if 2 or more friendly units had a model healed by Renet constructs. That one's kind of a gimme, since you can cast it on yourselves. So that one,
get battle tactics.
Yeah, Reknit tactic. Good. And then the last one is the Tide Demands. You score it if a hero or monster you pick at the start of the round is slain. And you get an additional victory point if you slew it with a Gothrazar Harvester.
Huh.
So again, this is one of those that just falls in line with everybody else's, where you pick a unit and try to kill it. All in all, in White Dwarf 272, the OBR player gets to play the full game like everyone else has been. And I said this before when the FAQ came out, and they basically said, you know, hey, you can do command abilities, you can use these things, that they put OCR Bone Reapers back into the conversation. And quite literally, the numbers bear that out. They have gone from about a 20% participation ratio in events to now they're running at about a 40 to 45% win ratio at events. Which
good.
Is
they're falling in line.
Pretty much right where you want everybody to be. Somewhere between 40 and 60 is where you want all your armies.
Yeah.
So they're right in there. I think these changes are going to put them right into that 50, maybe 55, you know, once you get good at how they work. I think it puts them right where they need to be. And that's, again, why I want to go back to them, because they're competitive and they look like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think you'll hit that 55 once you can really finagle their new stuff a lot better. Because those are really powerful abilities, but misplaced can hurt you a little bit.
Well, and you have to remember, you have the old drawbacks that the OCR Bone Reapers have versus the rest of everybody else is command abilities work differently for them. You're doing Relentless Discipline points. You're not doing command points. Anything that says expend a command point to do this, you cannot do, period. So you have to work within your pool of abilities, which, I mean, they've expanded it quite a bit. You have a lot of stuff now, and you are playing the same game as everyone else now.
But you're also playing your own game.
Yeah.
Which is what they're doing kind of in a fluff way, too.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I dig it.
And honestly, like you were talking about during your game, if you're going to go to a tournament, an organized event, and there's people there that you don't know, you might want to have a quick cheat sheet of what the different OCR Bone Reapers abilities are and how they differ, and be able to hand that to your opponent and say, here's where I don't play exactly like you do.
Exactly. I like it. OCR just looks cool. They have a cool aesthetic. They were really OP for a while, and I was playing Flesh Eater Courts when Petrifex was like rampaging, right? And so I had to learn real quick how to fight that army.
Yeah.
Because I went up against two different players consistently in an escalation league who were playing Petrifex, and one of them was playing the full cavalry. It was just so hard.
Yep.
So I think they look strong. I like these new abilities. Is it still where can you still do the same RDP ability multiple times?
Allowing you to use the same command ability more than once, but not allowing two command abilities to affect the same unit. So yes, you can do the same. So your Mortec will be able to shield wall. All of them will be able to shield wall, but you won't be able to shield wall and Mystic Shield.
Well, Mystic Shield's a spell.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So you won't all out defense and shield wall.
I was just thinking for like if you have one of those really rough like Lumineth matchups and you just get a lot of stuff shot off.
Yeah.
You know, wreck knitting multiple. multiple.
I'm never going to live that down.
You're not.
You're going to kill me with this. Wrecknet. I can't. I don't know how long I was reading that going, that is got to be the dumbest word I've ever seen in my life.
I don't remember that character in the book. What is
Wrecknet? Oh, reknit. You idiot.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So you got a note here about the possible escalation league. I think it runs until like the start of February. Okay. Are you going to be joining us?
I hope so. I hope to.
So what do you think what's a 500-point list look for you like for you, Bill?
I haven't actually put the points together, but it's basically going to be a cav-based list.
Okay.
Probably with the very least a Soul Mason, probably the Mortison, and 1 or 2 units of Mortec Guard. Well, at 500 points, no. Probably be 2 horses, 2 units of horses, the horse, the liege to be the general. Yeah, no, it'll be the liege for the general, 2 units of horses, and some at 500, whatever else will have to be either filled out with a generic hero or a Mortison, a Mortec Guard. Sorry.
Okay, I could dig it.
Yeah, I'm not super up on the points. I got to look at the points.
Yeah, because I could see, even if you just get 1 unit of cav, because then you have, the liege, and the riders just charge up first, while you have like a unit of Mortec just very slowly plodding forward, right?
Yep, with their Relentless Advance giving them an extra 3 inches, so it's not that slow, but yeah.
I mean, on a 500 point map, right? It's such a tiny board.
That's true. It is a smaller board.
So your cav's going to get across the board, you know?
Yeah.
Like with my, with Buzz Daddy and the Flyboys, I mean, like that 8-inch pregame move, like oftentimes I had maybe 1 or 2 inches left to spare to get into charge range.
Yeah.
Right? Like 3-inch charge range. So it was kind of annoying having so much extra movement in a way, right? Like, could I have done something else? But I think they'll just fly across the board and just pin someone in the back line if you go first. You're just going to stick them there, and they're not going to be able to move.
It'll be glorious. What did you have in mind? And I will talk about my list here as soon as I get it done.
So, I decided to go back to Nurgle.
Nurgle.
New battle tome. We've talked about it at length, And, I'm really trying to determine what the effective unit choices are. Sorry if I sound a little sniffly. Apparently my allergies decided to just kick me in the teeth. I want to learn how to leverage the summoning effectively. At 500 points, there's frankly not a lot you can do, right? You could essentially take 2 units of Plague Bearers and, a generic hero. You could take Sloppity or Scrivener, hope to summon something else in, or you could do what I did, and I think the Mortals are the stronger to start, at least. So it's Lord of Affliction +2 Pusco Blight Lords of 430. And I got to say that +1 to Wound Triumph did come in handy in one of the games. So, I don't want to discount that. But my idea is we move forward through the escalation because it goes 500, 750, 1,000, since it's only a month long. For the next, 250, for me, it'll be 320 points, right? Because I've got that extra 70 that I've got lying around. I'm not sure what to do because, frankly, I could literally take a Magath Lord. That's nothing to scoff at. If I take in Orgots on the next round, it's a highly elite list, but that's what you're dealing with in Nurgle anymore. He'll count, and not just a hero, but he counts as a general in addition. He's flat 300, which means I still have some Triumph territory. And he hits like a freight train. He just does.
Yeah.
And it's something where if I want to, I could null deploy now, but because the maps are so small, I don't want someone to zone me out.
Yeah, you could get really, at that size, you're going to, it'd be super easy to put it where you can't get within 9.
Yeah.
So,
100%, and so that's why, maybe if I have Orgots, I can null deploy, or I can at least just put the Lord of Afflictions up in the air, and I can have him come down, in a choice moment. And so I'm obviously steering Mortals, but I have Demons for summoning. So in my BCR game, I was able to fulfill my battle tactic because I literally summoned 3 Nurglings. And I would just have more models within 6 inches of the center of the board.
Bingo.
Done. So that was great. My ideas are really focusing on trying to, kind of you were talking about earlier, is work on those disease mechanics.
Yes.
Right?
You have to, I think doubling down on that is a super big key because it did more damage, I think. Disease removal did more work than actual wound output.
And I could see where, that's going to be very common, right? I feel like if you're doing the mortal elite stuff, you're still going to get some punches in.
Yeah.
I think that's probably Orgots, and then, your Puscoils and your Putrid Blight Kings are going to be your punchy units. At the end of the day, you need to be able to really leverage the other aspects of the army. So I want to see how much I can go into summoning, So since it's you don't have to stick to the same list, right? I mean, I know I can win with Buzz Daddy and the Flyboys. Maybe, I take in what I can expand, I was like a Guo and 1 set of Plague Bearers. That way I could try this out.
Yeah.
Maybe just do a smattering of units, kind of go, I call thin, right? You're not thin because you're Nurgle, you're all a bunch of fatties. But, do that as a way to test out, what the limits of that are. There's no, the person who gets the most wins in the escalation league gets a poster.
Wow.
Right? I don't
crap.
care. This is really a time for me to be like, all right, cool, I'm doing this today.
This is where we test the stuff. And I would like to test that, the sorcerers, what's his name?
The Rock Coven?
Yeah, Rock Coven.
Yeah.
Thank you. I couldn't think of the name.
Yeah, I still have my little, I had this Rotbringer sorcerer that was the little caster Nurgling.
Oh, God.
Right? And I put him on a 25 mil when he was 25 mil. So just for right now, until I can fully go back and rebase him, I just, with a tiny bit of super glue, glued it to a 32. Just to be like, okay, so to see, I could still do this, guys.
Yeah.
I would have to build a custom base for him so he looks cooler. But I still just want to be the tiny little Nurgling on the top. I want to see if I can get 3 of those ones.
Oh, sure.
That's the best. That's the best. And if you ever do a Morbidix twice born kind of list, then it kind of fits themey since it's all the Nurglings together.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's fun.
It's going to be super sweet.
We get to 1,000, that's where I'm wondering really what to do. Because I could do Hero Hammer practically.
Yeah.
And take a Guo with Buzz Daddy and the Flyboys, and then I could buy in and end the spell like the Burning Head or something, right?
Ooh.
Or, how many points is the Emerald Life Swarm?
I think it's, God, I forgot. It's 60 now, isn't it? Or did it
maybe
stay at 40?
I might try out throwing an Arcane Tome instead of the Split Horn Helm on
Ooh, yeah.
On the Lord of Afflictions.
And throw that in there?
That would be annoying, right?
Yeah.
All right, shows up. I heal D3. It moves. I heal D3. I heal 1 for being Nurgle. All right, cool. Now it's your phase. All right, so it's your turn. So now it moves, and I heal D3.
Wow.
Like, how do I kill these things? You don't kill these things.
You don't. Yeah. No, stop trying. Just let them spread their disease.
So what I'm using this for is ultimately I'd like to be very skilled with the army and see its bounds, But
yeah,
we talked about before, not just today, but also in previous episode, that like it takes a lot of work and experiment with Nurgle to really find out where it is. It's not just here are dragons be doing dragon things, right? So this is something that takes more work, and those are the kinds of armies that I really like. Is one where like it takes a deep understanding and a lot of effort, because once you have that deep understanding, you put the effort in, then you're going to be able to play far better than the other players are, right? Because point and click is cool. It's easy, sure, but point and click can only point and click, right? If it's not able to, if you're not able to turn your head a little bit and see what's around you, you're going to get schooled.
And, it's always been the big knock about the net listing and the what have you is, I've always maintained I could take the same list that Russ Veal takes to an event and be 0-6 where he goes 6-0. It's the driver that matters and the experience with it that matters. And, I don't care what game you're playing. Is it Legion? Is it Crisis Protocol? Is it AOS 40K? The more reps you have with an army, and again, another thing, when you're starting out, and you get raffle stomped with a list, don't immediately make a change to the list. I mean, there might be a glaring error, but play it again.
Yep.
It might have been you just had the worst matchup, the worst combination of opponent and scenario, and you got raffle stomped. Whereas in the next scenario against the next opponent, you might be on the other end of that.
Yeah.
So, it's repetition that makes this stuff work.
And so, in terms of AOS, unless something comes out that, like, crabs, or
I'm changing.
Or crabs come out. Goodbye. I mean, I've already got an Idoneth army, so I mean, it's not like I'd be swerving too hard. But there's nothing out right now other than Nurgle that's really like taking me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff. Sure, dragons would be fun to play with. I could have a hell of a good time with those. But like Nurgle's the most intriguing to me, just because it is more of a book that you need to spend time with to appreciate.
To unlock it.
And I hope to do that over the course of the escalation. And so that way, when we come to that episode that we had talked that we would do, where we invite like Kai on the show, I could say, all right, I've played X amount of games. Here's what happened. Depending on what you're going up against, at 500 points, Nurgle is strong.
Yes, they are. That mechanic is, and any kind of mechanic like that causes removal of units without interaction on your part is a strong mechanic in a small game.
Oh, yeah.
So,
hey, I'm standing next to you. That means you're going to die at the end of the turn. Wait, I don't like this. I know.
Yeah. Shh. Don't worry. When we get to 1,000, it'll only be twice as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
another thing I could do, too, is like, I got to a 1,000-point list. What's only 220 points for Puscoil Blight Lords?
Yeah.
210 points for the Lord of Afflictions. So I could take 4 more of these guys.
Oh, God.
Do a unit of 4, unit of 2. Yeah,
that's ugly.
It is. I mean, currently I have 4 Puscoil Blight Lords aside from my Lord of Afflictions, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't invest heavy in them because it was not worth taking more than that, because you would take that in a battalion back in the old book. Yep.
Now it's time to double down on them.
They're that good. Like I can see you taking 2 Buzz Daddies.
Yeah.
A bunch of the Fly Boys, and then like just some Nurglings to steal objectives. There's a lot to play there. A lot to play with there.
There's, again, I just go back and I maintain it. People are down on that Nurgle book because it doesn't have that thing that slaps you in the face and says, here's all the damage output.
Yeah.
When you look at it and you understand how much damage you're doing on across an average turn, you're up there with the Lumineth Realm Lords and the Daughters of Cain. It's just your damage is coming in these little waves. It's Nurgle.
Yeah.
It's the way it is. It's horrible. It's awesome. It's Nurgle. So
yeah, it's interesting how they swayed everything because, I mean, in terms of like psychographic profiles, I mean, it's so much more of a Johnny style army now with the Timmy aspect because you have to have a tolerance for randomness when it comes to your cycle of corruption, right? Like where you land on that, like the second game,
it's huge.
I rolled a 6. So the first thing was, disease on a 3+. I was like, I need to get in combat. Like,
yeah.
I need to rush it right now. If I don't do that, I'm wasting this turn.
Yep.
But the first time it was the can't pile in. Well, I still want to rush into combat, but then I could just space everything just
and
right.
You can pick how you're going to apply it. And that really is a big thing for Nurgle is cycle of corruption being random now. It's a handicap, if you will, in that you can't choose and you don't have the spell to manipulate it the way you want to, but it does force you to look at how you're playing and what your goal is for the turn, along with the battle tactic that you're going to use and all this other stuff. You have to think a little more in this game. I hate it. God, can't we just have anyway.
It's the same reason you're taking OBR too. Like these are big changes and they play a different game.
Yeah, a monstrously different type of approach. I mean, as it is, like I said, I don't know what I'm going to do in 500 points. Well, in 500 points, here's what I'm going to do. A unit of Death Riders, a unit of Mortek Guard, and a Bone Shaper. That's it.
That's all you can do?
That's it, 500 points.
Ooh.
Now, at 1,000, it becomes the Liege Cavalos, 2 Death Riders, the same unit of Mortek, Bone Shaper, Soul Mason, and Cabalos.
Can you take a Liege and Death Riders?
Nope.
At 500?
Nope.
Really?
Nope. 185 and 190. So,
You're at 400 then.
Well, yeah, you could take and be playing way down, but I figured if I went with the Mortek Guard, the 1 unit of Death Riders, and the Bone Shaper, I'd have at least 3 units on the table.
So how much is a unit of Mortek?
Guard?
Yeah.
140.
140? Crap.
Yeah.
How much is did you say Soul Mason?
Yep.
How much is that one?
140.
Geez, what's their cheapest hero?
135.
Dang it, man.
Yeah, the Soul Reaper is 115, but his value is Vokmordian is 135. And actually he has some stuff now, so he's a worthy include.
Because then could you do the Liege, the unit of 3, and the Soul Reaper? Is that the one that was 115, right?
Soul Reaper is 115, yeah.
So 185 plus 115. Yeah, you could do that, right?
What are we talking about doing?
So the Liege, a unit of Death Riders, and the hero at 115.
Yeah.
You could do that?
Yep.
That could be another way to have 3 units. Then you have 2 heroes.
2 heroes, yeah. Although that one Soul Reaper is going to be in a world of hurt.
Well, that's why you charge him down and pin him in their deployment zone, and then he just like casually walks up casting spells, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's one way if you really want your Liege in there, But then again, it is that we talked about 500 points, but you're not married to a list.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was like when I go to the shop, today, I'm probably gonna, try out the like Sloppity Boppity or
yeah.
I might try and do I have Horticulus too.
Ooh.
Horticulus is at 220. Then it's 110 for a Beast of Nurgle, so that puts me at 330. I have 170 points left, and then I could take a unit of 10 Plague Bearers.
Yeah.
That could be fun. And then I do you get double tree, even though I only have 1 tree, but you could do double tree. Beast of Nurgle's battle line. If I want to do that also, I could take that 170 and devote it into something else.
Sure. So many options.
Yeah.
So many options.
There's just so much fun to be had.
Yep.
Well,
that's just, it's what I love about these books as they're coming out is the flexibility that's inside of them now.
Yeah.
And they seem to be doubling down. Whenever they do one of these articles in White Dwarf to update a book, they're stressing the play it how you want as long as it's not completely counter to what this army does.
Yeah.
We're no longer going to see that ridiculously fast Nurgle army that we saw all of last edition. So it's just not going to happen. It's not how they play. But within the framework of how they play now, there's so many options to get work done.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to, what do you enjoy playing?
Exactly.
What models do you like?
Yep.
And, I said it with the Stormcast. That's a book with just far too many choices to make. Yep. There's far too many units. There's so much duplication in the leadership level. It's ridiculous. But still, everybody has a place. Everybody has, except for the one knight. But, you can do whatever you want and have a lot of fun with it. And that's where the game should be. That's where list building should be. List building should not be, here's the things that do the work, period. This is the one list from this book. I'm playing it. And everybody knows what they're going to face when they see that book.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Me too.
So that's what we're doing for New Year, New Army.
And, join us in the Discord and tell us, what are you doing?
Yeah, what's going to be.
Year?
Yep, I was reading that post about the guy who got the Dominion box and was like, hey, look, there's my 2 new armies.
Hey-o.
Isn't that perfect?
Love it.
And I apologize for forgetting your name. Let me fix that as we go. So what are we going to talk about in After Dark? A little teaser, if you will.
Little teaser. So seems like you've been playing some Wrath of the Lich King. And no, we're not talking about WoW.
World of Warcraft.
We're talking about the pandemics, or the Wrath of the Lich King pandemic skin.
Yes.
Probably a little MSF.
So cool.
So that's what we have to look forward to in After Dark.
Mattless Schneider. That was it. Mattless Schneider. He's the guy that got the Dominion box.
Congrats, Matt, on your new armies.
Yep.
New year.
Made him into a Cruel Boys player. And also got him into 40K orcs.
Oh.
So, yeah, this is a super Zingo bonus. I love it.
Look at that. I mean, hey, if you want to play Snake Bites, those Cruel Boys.
Hello.
Hey-o. Not
fit.
just savaging orcs anymore, baby.
Nope. All right, so we're going to wrap it up, and we'll see you again
After Dark.
If you would like to get in touch with us, you can reach us at our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/rollingbadpodcast, all one word. Our Patreon page is at www.patreon.com/rollingbadpodcast, again, all one word. The Twitter account for the show is at rolling_bad. Our individual Twitters are, for me, at Bill Castello, BILLCASTELLO. And for Josh, you can reach him at Anoyo, ANOYOE. All the guests on the show will have their contact information in that show's show notes. The music in the show is used courtesy of Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com and is used under the Creative Commons license. The Rolling Bad podcast itself is protected under the Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International License. Information for this license can be found at creativecommons.org.